Welcome to the How to Attract Customers podcast, where we talk about how to attract customers in real estate, beauty, and small businesses. And I'm joined today with the lovely Shauna LeFont, owner of EXIT Realty here in Central Florida. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about how to attract more buyers in your database in 2025 and some unconventional ways on how to attract clients in 2025. Because I feel like 2025 is the year of the buyer. The past 3 or 4 years, it's been all sellers, right?
Absolutely.
And that's really where, a lot of the agents that have got into the industry in the past 2 to 3 years, they're so spoiled with focusing on sellers and they don't really know how to attract buyers and the right buyers. So, Shauna, talking about 2025, what are you seeing happening in the real estate market in 2025?
I just feel like newer people that are, coming into real estate, it's been a very different market than we've ever experienced. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 plus years now. It's a very different market. We had the craziness of basically you put a house on the market and it's sold in a day. We're not there anymore. We're honestly back to kind of a traditional market, which is great. But even if you've been in real estate a long time, that traditional market, we can't use traditional methods anymore. People are not looking for a phone call and they're going to all of a sudden want you to be their agent. You need to establish some sort of trust with them. And honestly, how often do you scroll on Facebook and Instagram? And I could sit there for 2 hours and watch stupid Facebook
Yep.
videos. That's where people are nowadays. So you've got to get a little more creative to get out there and meet people where they are. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, I remember back when I was in full-time production, I was selling tons of homes listing on Craigslist. When Craigslist, you had to have multiple domains or multiple email accounts to list on Craigslist. And then after the Craigslist boom, turned the Facebook marketplace boom, which is still a thing. For those of you who are watching and listening in, if you are sleeping on Facebook marketplace, because they allow you to post 150 listings a day.
I guess I need to get on that one.
Yep. And now the crazy thing about it though is a lot of people, especially newer age, like, so how do I don't have any listings. How do I post to attract buyers? Well, wouldn't you agree that, having a really good new construction network is paramount for that?
Absolutely. If you can go out there, these new construction companies now are in the same, they're basically in the same thing that we are. They're having trouble getting rid of their inventory. So they want us to sell their houses. It's not like it was where they wanted to sell their houses themselves. They are begging us. I get calls every day of people telling me, hey, you want to come out for this? You want to do that? Because they are dying to sell these houses. They need to get them out their inventory. So if you go to a new construction community and say, hey, I want to advertise your homes, be like, absolutely. Please advertise all of them. Come to this community, come to that community. I get calls every single day. So
Yeah.
absolutely 100%.
Yeah, and back when I was posting on Facebook Marketplace consistently, I was raking the buyers from that because agents, let's face it, a lot of agents tend to be a little lazy, right? We want the vanity, we want, the bougie aesthetics of real estate, but oftentimes a lot of agents don't want to put in the work. And I'm just calling people out. I'm very real on this. And to me, with Facebook Marketplace, you're able to post over 100 listings a day, right?
Absolutely.
And you can go on home sites like New Home Resource, find the new construction communities that are in your area, reach out directly from New Home Resource to get a can I list your home on Facebook Marketplace and put listing presented by Lennar Homes or whatever home builder. You always want to give that builder credit.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, as a buyer, especially in a down economy, buyers are getting savvier and they're looking for deals, right?
Right. 100%.
And when they're looking for deals, do they go the normal mainstream ways of, Zillow, Realtor.com?
No, not always. I mean, and plus with that new construction, you talk about that, there are so many incentives that you can't get with a traditional, yeah, great. I can list a house. I have a few listings up right now, but I can't give $15,000 towards closing costs. I
Mhm.
can't give a rate buy down to get them to a 3% rate, which right now we all know we're at 6%, 7% even.
Mhm.
I can't give that as a normal listing, but new construction communities are doing it every day.
Yep.
So that's a huge way to build up your inventory, especially if you don't have any listings to get buyers. People come, it's the funniest thing. I don't know if I should say this on a podcast or not, but there's a new construction home and the office that has it listed, their name is similar to my office name.
Mhm.
So somehow realtor.com thinks that it's my listing, my office listing. I have gotten so many calls on that new construction house because they think it's my listing. It's not, but I get buyers every single day.
Mhm.
So that tells you that people are looking.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
crazy.
And you know what's crazy is the savvy buyer has been out looking at new construction over and over again. They're starting to catch on after going to 2 or 3 communities. They're starting to catch on and realize, okay, I need to go to more communities to see what deals they offer because most new construction is not going to openly say, hey, we're offering a 3.99% rate. That's not what they're going to lead with. They're going to lead with the community, the amenities, and things like that, and leave those incentives as their like back pocket trick. So for you as the agent, imagine having a ton of ads out on Facebook Marketplace where you're leading with that incentive, where you're saying, hey, if that builder, I used to do this all the time. If a builder is offering, a $5,000 realtor bonus, I would all the time run deals and say, ask me how I could save you even more money. And then depending on the loan they get or the structure of the deal, I would see if I could credit them back some of my commission as a benefit for working with me because I wanted to show that differentiating factor to any other agent and bring a reason. Because a lot of buyers are like, why do I need an agent to buy new construction? Well, they don't realize how agents are a protection blanket for them, how agents can sometimes, if they have a really good relationship with a new construction builder, actually get you a better deal than if they were to walk in off the street. And not only that, agents typically know the right questions to ask
Absolutely. Yeah.
when at a new construction community. Whereas as a buyer, you're only thinking about your own self, where the agent's thinking 10 steps ahead of probably
Well,
you.
and you're not thinking about all the things that could go wrong as part of the transaction. And so you're thinking, yes, I have an agent, but honestly, that's the builder's agent.
Yep.
That's not your agent. That's
Yep.
the builder's agent. And they're looking out for the builder. They're
Absolutely.
not telling you, go get an inspection. You can do 3 different inspections. They're not giving you all that information because they don't want you to know if there's an issue with the house because you only have the first year to go back to them and say if there's any major issue,
Yep.
little things here and there. They don't want you to know that. So they're not going to give you all that information. Whereas an agent that is experienced and understands and knows is going to do that.
Absolutely.
So it's,
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think, tip number one is understanding that if I put a little bit of extra work in over the other agent, especially those of you who are seeing all these agents on TikTok posting these funny TikToks, seeing a lot of comments on TikTok, you don't want to do that. Just go on Facebook Marketplace, go to new construction builders, and guess what? Start posting new construction inventory left and right every day. I think we both can agree, Shauna. Would you say, prospecting has died?
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately.
It's
Yeah.
it's died in the traditional sense, I feel like. In the sense of let's pick up the phone and make a million dials every single
Oh,
day.
yeah, I know.
That's completely, I feel like, is died to the
Well,
wayside.
think about it. Do you get phone calls every day? I know I get
Mhm.
phone calls every single day about you own a business,
Mhm.
about your Google
Yeah.
listing
Your Google My
or
Business account. Yep.
healthcare.
Yep.
Or, I mean, what do you do when those people call you?
Hang up.
Hang up the phone.
Yep.
So I don't wanna be that person that I'm just gonna spend 3 hours calling and just get hung up on 100 times.
Yep.
I would rather like, Facebook Marketplace, you said that, and I think that's an amazing thing. I actually created a group
Mhm.
for new homes where people could just see new homes, and they were part of my group, and then they would come to me if they had any questions about them, which
Yep.
is great. But with Facebook Marketplace, the thing that you don't think about is if you get them to message you, now you have access to their profile. And now you look at their profile. I mean, how I have my business is mainly Sphere now
Mhm.
at this point. And my Sphere, I watch people on Facebook. You get married, guess who's reaching out? You're having a baby,
Bingo.
I'm reaching out. You're getting a promotion at your job, I'm totally reaching out. Like those are all the things that prompt me to say, "Hey, I need to reach out and see how they're doing.
Mhm.
Congratulations or whatever." Because typically what does that mean? It means a real estate transaction.
Yep.
So now not only are you getting marketing and you're getting stuff out there, but now you can actually go look at their lives and see what they're doing.
Yep.
And now you have a great way to reach out. You have some I'm more the type of person I need a reason to reach out to you,
Mhm.
have a conversation. So now if I know that you're pregnant, you're about to have a baby, I have a great reason to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. How far along are you? When are you having the baby? What are y'all thinking about doing? Are y'all staying where you're at? And now I get to have the conversation.
Yep. Yeah.
And I didn't have to cold call you, which is amazing.
Amazing. Yep. And I think in real estate, prospecting, to me, the word prospecting hasn't gone away. It's how you prospect what's shifted.
Yes.
The days of picking up the phone, making 300 dials and getting, 20 connections and 20 conversations are kind of over. Now, in today's day and age, you have, Facebook Marketplace. You put up 100 listings a day. Do you think you're going to have 20 conversations? Yes. So it's the same. It's actually a better effect than picking up the phone, right?
Absolutely.
But then there's a secret that's been going around the industry that I feel like is like a ninja move because it's thriving off of the lazy agent in the industry. And when I say thriving off the lazy agent in the industry, it's thriving off the agent that's putting in like the 50% effort. And what I mean by that is like TikTok. All right. We all see these killer TikTok agents that are posting out all this content. But what I'm even more seeing, Shauna, is the agents posting out content, getting 20 or 30 comments about more information, more information, more information. And then the agent not even replying to those comments.
Wow. Why do all that work to not even
Like,
respond?
that is mind blowing to me. If I was, going full time in today's market, I would just make sure I follow all the local TikTok celebrity agents in my area. And
I will be doing that later today. Yes.
yeah, and private messaging everybody that's commented. And the way I would approach that person when I private message them and say, hey, I noticed that you follow a lot of real estate TikTok pages in our area. I was wondering if you were planning on buying or selling here in the next 90 days. I would love to be a resource for you, and actually take the time to build a relationship with that commenter, right? Instead of doing it for vanity.
See, I'm going to go a little bit further because, again, my personality, I'm more of an introvert. Tony is not. I'm going to make that connection with you. I'm going to go find out more about you. And then I'm going to call you. I'm going to focus on the relationship first.
Love it.
I want to get to know you.
Love it.
Then I might bring up real estate after the fact. But for me, I want to build that relationship. I'm all about relationship. I am more about relationships than I am about selling homes. And because of that, it's worked for me.
Yeah.
I can't say it works for everyone, but it works for me.
Yeah, I think in today's world, like the numbers still haven't changed in real estate. You need about 20 contacts a day to be successful in real estate. The way you get those 20 contacts has changed for the better, for the easier, for the lazy agent out there, where you have all these resources. A lot of people ask me, Tony, how do I find buyers in my market? Well, where are the buyers hanging out? They're hanging out in new construction. They're hanging out on all your competitors, or all the other agents' TikTok accounts, watching that. They're hanging out in your local community groups, because guess what? How many for sale by owners post in your local community group saying, for sale by owner, I don't want my agents to don't, if you're an agent, don't come at me. I'm not going to list with you. They post that in their caption, but then they have 10 comments of buyers looking at that home.
Oh my gosh, reach out to all those buyers.
Like, they're your buyers right there. We are in a buyer economy right now, a buyer's market. Those are the ninja tactics you should be doing on a daily basis to get business, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a ninja tactic right there.
That was like an eye opener. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, but when it goes back to it, I think, and we had this discussion last week, like, what really makes successful agents is understanding the art of selling one to many, right?
Right.
And we were talking about it, and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time in this podcast to go over how to sell one to many specifically. But one thing we both identified was, I came from the real estate industry, director of sales, managed over $300 million in real estate transactions, had my own KW mega team, all those big conglomerate things. But then I left the industry for a brief moment to really help and scale one of the largest beauty businesses or beauty marketing agencies in the country. And when I did that, I really learned how to sell one to many. And that was through actual webinars. So then, me and you were talking last week of like, one to many, how do we sell in webinars? And we kind of had an aha moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, why are agents hosting buyer webinars? They host the seminars, but seminars are like too much commitment, right?
Yeah.
They got to drive there, they got to attend, they got to sit in it, they got to do all these things. But how to effectively sell a webinar? It was funny. When we were talking, you had asked me, well, yeah, you just host a normal webinar, and that's there's a certain way to host a webinar where you hook people in, you get them, you show them high perceived value to want to work with you. Then at the end, have an irresistible offer for why a buyer would want to work with you, and you instantly sell 20 to 30 buyer
And
contracts.
there's not that many people doing that right now. So
I
this
don't,
is like an untapped. I mean, I've been on webinars which I thought were running great. They were not real estate focused.
yeah.
Um, because no one's really doing this. So I think that's huge, and I'm honestly excited that I picked up the phone and
Yeah, because it's selling one to many is an art. You have to, identify that particular person's problem. So here's a great example is hosting a buyer's webinar that says, don't buy Central Florida new construction until you attend this webinar. And your call to action, something like a warning sign or something like that to buyers before they buy new construction, right? And then when you're on the webinar, you talk about why are they looking at new construction, the pain points of why they want the new construction. And you go into the actual buyer life cycle and you meet them, the buyer where they're at, not sell them why you're the best agent, why you're a 10 times bold graduate and you have these 3 accolades and 4 accolades and you're a rookie of the year and all this crap. The buyer doesn't care about that. The
no,
buyer cares about how you're going to help them, right?
they care about them and what they want to get to.
Yeah. So there's a true art for that. So I wish we had more time to go into that, but I think it's really awesome that, we decided to actually host an upcoming class on how to host buyer webinars. And that's something that we have coming up. So stay tuned for that. And, we're going to have a link somewhere around this podcast for you to actually sign up for that. But if you're really wanting to if you're really struggling on like how to sell one to many, how to get, 5 buyer contracts in the next 10 days, I think that's a webinar you're going to want to be on because that's how we break down how to do that, right?
Absolutely.
And we're also going to be diving a little bit deeper into how we actually help others grow their business, how Exit Realty has helped grow other agents' businesses, how other brokerages help grow their business in unconventional ways. Because just like in this podcast, we went over like 3 or 4 unconventional ways in 2025. So anything you want to add to that, Shauna?
Well, that's just we need to figure out we need to look at other businesses and find out how they're doing it. We all know real estate has been under a huge microscope for the last couple of years. Lawsuits and everything else. Everything is changing. So we don't want to be like, what is it that everyone always says? We don't want to be Blockbuster.
Yep.
We want to grow and change. And I think the issue that we've always had is we're always trying to stay within this real estate space and just do things the way people have been doing them for the last 40 years, which is what Blockbuster did. We want to start looking. I mean, Tony is a huge resource because he's been in other industries. He sees what they're doing, and now he can bring that back to real estate, and we can start doing things that other people are doing that haven't been done yet in real estate and be different and be that person that people look to. I mean, that's just, I think that's huge.
Yeah, and that's what really got me excited about, hopping back into the real estate realm is like there's so much that other industries are doing that the real estate industry is not. I feel like the real estate industry has like agents are taught this one box and now they're being taught post on Instagram or TikTok, have funny reels and things like that. But all that's like a lot of effort. I would rather do one sale to many people at the same time
Mhm.
and collect a lot of data very quickly. Because one thing when I first got into real estate was actually my mentor, Beth Woodhall, told me this. She's like, your database is everything. And I didn't listen to her. Didn't listen to her. And then,
Luckily, I did.
yeah. And then 3 years in, I'm like, oh my God, I never realized how important a database was. And then now that I have that database, I've built that up to where, yes, I still sell transactions, but to me, I feel like that is still an old school way of doing it. If I had to go get 3 buyer contracts tomorrow, I know I could do it because I know there's at least 3 people that are hanging out on my competitor's socials or hanging out at new construction that I know I could help. I just have to be the one in front of them. So,
Absolutely.
but Shauna, thank you so much for joining us today. If you want more information on that how to sell one-to-many webinar, click the link somewhere around this podcast, or if you're listening, click the link below and we'll get you signed up for that upcoming webinar. But we're so excited. Thank you, Shauna, so much for
Thanks
today.
for having me. Thank
Awesome. Talk to y'all soon.